Hello, everybody. Welcome to Roll'em If You Got 'em. I am Dakota, and as always, joined with by Carl.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Oh, wait, you didn't do that yet? Go ahead. It'll be fun.
So, in this episode, we're gonna just do kind of a run through of our first Horde Crusade game. Uh, to talk about what we did, how the game played out, to give a recap of round by round, and then we're also going to talk about um, how we set up our little crusade armies that we're running, at least for this first game. And then in the next episode, we'll do a preview for game two.
Yes, so if you haven't seen any of our other Horde mode stuff, check that out. And then if you want to watch the full game, it'll be under our live streams, as will the rest of the games. So you can check those out also.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what we have playing in the background here. We have just sort of the live game playing, and we'll just kind of talk over that and show some stuff off.
Yep.
So, round one. Should we introduce our list now?
Sure. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about if you aren't familiar, Horde Mode is a fan made game mode. Check out other videos. We talk about it a little bit more there. Um, Essentially, you fight like a horde. We're playing co-oply. I'm running my Dark Angels, and Carl's running his Death Guard.
Yes. So let's take a look at those.
All right, so previewing here, this is the list that I ran. 500 field points, then 500 capital reinforcement points. This is a 5th Company Strike Force. So starting out, I have Jophiel. He's a chaplain. I got Gadriel. He is a tech marine. Squad Uziel is a unit of assault intercessors. The Lion's Fury is a Gladiator Reaper, and then Azrael's backup is a Gladiator Lancer. And then up in the ship, the next 500 points, I actually didn't get to naming these guys yet because I was like, I might need to use them. A lot got used. I got
More
got
than anticipated.
I had a Redemptor Dread, a unit of Deathwing Knights, and then a second unit of Assault Intercessors.
Had a Redemptor Dread. Is that an ominous foreshadowing here?
No, we played this game previously. Past tense.
All right, so my Death Guard here, the Black Infestation, they are led by Naglax the Witherer. He is my lone tally man that I believe got us one big fat command point in 5 rounds. My first Scourge of Blight Lord Terminators, my first Sepsis of Plague Marines, my second Sepsis of Plague Marines, and the first Rhino of the Black Infestation. And then in my capital reinforcements, I believe is their technical term.
Mm-hmm.
The third Sepsis of Plague Marines, the first Torment of the Death Shroud, and the first Plague Burst Crawler of the Black Infestation. I kind of leaned into the RP stuff and named my. I wanted to like find a fun way to keep track of like how many units of Plague Marines do I go through, right? So the first unit that got added to a list got named as the first Sepsis, the second Sepsis, the third, and we'll see how many we end up going through here. So yeah, that is my 500 points and then my 480 of capital reinforcements.
Okay, so how we did deployments then for the Horde is we actually set them up into 4 areas, which you'll kind of see throughout the video. Basically, left to right, numbered them 1 to 4. We rolled a dice for each of them, and then essentially the 2 highest got the deployments,
Yeah.
as you can see here.
So instead of just being like, oh, deployment A, deployment B, right?
Yeah.
We have deployment A, B, C, and D, and then we rolled for where the Horde would spawn to add just a little bit of more dynamics to the battlefield. So it's not so static, and we know where they're coming from. Like we didn't get any spawns where like this one and this one spawned,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't think we did.
We,
They
we
stayed pretty even.
they were pretty much, from my recollection. I don't know if any deployed on the far left, but I think mostly were in like B, C, D. I
Yeah,
know most of my side deployed in D,
yeah.
or not,
I,
but
I
like,
I don't know if we had a deployment that was like C and D. I
yeah.
think they were kind of like all B and whatever. So whatever the two
Mhm.
highest of these come up here. So okay, so actually round 1, I think I lied. It looks like C and D are what spawn. So just to add kind of another wrinkle to it here.
Yeah. I think we're running the Dawn of War deployment too for this, as you can tell. So it's a little bit wider table, which it doesn't make it as. I think it made it less oppressive for being like C and D, because as you'll see here, we get like some Gene Stealers that end up running up the middle to the middle objective, following their rules. So it wasn't like overwhelming on an objective, but it could have been bad.
Yes. So our our secret objectives, because we did, we play by the rules. We told each other them, trusting that the other person wasn't gonna lie. Did you tell the truth? I told the truth.
I think I told the
I'm
truth.
pretty sure you did. I had cleanse sacred ground, so at the end of the game, I had to control an objective marker like to myself. The Horde couldn't control it. Dakota couldn't control it. It had to be mine. And Dakota had hold the line. Do you remember what you had to do for that one?
I do not remember what hold the line is. I'll be honest.
I know you say it at one point. It
I
wasn't anything. Oh, it
It was.
was there could be no enemies in our deployment zone at the end of the game.
Yeah, that's what it was. It
So
was
at least that's what
pretty
he
sure.
told me it was.
I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I mean, if you want to go back, somebody wants to go back, they can look up what hold the line is and confirm it. Check us out. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
it was just nobody in our deployment zone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Okay. So
Because I just remember it wasn't too hard. It wasn't too.
mhm.
It wasn't something where it was like, oh, I'm not going to tell Carl this, because at that point it's like I don't want to tell him. I want to tell him that, so he also does it.
Right, right. Our first misery card here in round 1. Let's go back to that. Where was it? It was like right here. So anyways, okay. So those are our secret objectives. Is there a way I can just do 10 seconds on desktop? I don't think so. Okay. Anyways, all right. First one here. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because that was my plan. I was like, oh, I have to just have an objective. I'll just keep this one, and then it died round 1. Okay. We spawned a Toxicrene over here in zone 4, and we spawned 10 Gene Stealers in zone 3. That was pretty much it that round. Dakota killed the Toxicrene. We took the Gene Stealers down to 2 wounds by the end of the round here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, the Toxicrene, they just didn't do much. I'm not sure what a Toxicrene does, but I don't think it did much. And the Gene Stealers, they were just melee, so they just advanced. And since it was round 1, they didn't do anything.
Yeah, I think they like end up maybe getting an attack on this thing by the end of it, but my Blight Lords kill them in round 2,
Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
all right, takes us into round 2. Round 2, our misery card was which that's irrelevant. It was the enemies got dev wounds this round. I don't know how applicable it was, but yeah. The round two spawns here.
Yeah, this is where shit got wild.
If I can find the perfect time, your audio on this is actually kinda hilarious. But anyways.
Is it when we roll up the deployment?
Yes, it was funny. Okay, so round 2 we spawned the Hierophant. I believe so. And a winged Tyranid Prime with 6 ranged warriors. The round ends with the Gene Stealers being killed by the Blight Lords, and the winged Prime and stuff gets killed by the Plague Marines. And here we'll take a listen to Dakota's audio. The Horde, they got an 8 and a 10.
2 winged Tyranid Prime. Huh. Okay.
All right, so there was Dakota's audio. Huh. Did you know like what that was when it first came out of the bag, or other than it's massive and it's gonna be a problem?
So it came out of the bag. I don't know its stat line, but I do know it's a Titanic model that's like 800 points. And like I know it's gonna have like some rules. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh yeah, I knew its stat lines and I knew it was gonna be an issue.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that's not ideal to fight in this game mode because I only have 500 points and it itself is 800 points.
Yes.
So I was a little much like, okay, we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
I remember looking at the card too at it and went, okay, yeah, like he'll kill my vehicles because they don't have like an involt or anything. But yeah,
Oh, did them guys spawn over in group one? Oh, they did. But
oh,
yeah,
they
we
did.
went 1 and 4, which was fine.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so that was pretty much it for round two. I mean, these guys just kind of mush forward. Um,
Oh, and my they move forward on their turn. My Reaper actually dies on this turn because my Reaper is the closest thing to that
mm,
Hierophant. So it moves up. I think it shoots and charges. I don't even know if it has to charge, but it does its duty on the Reaper.
this is where the Reaper dies. In memorandum of the first Reaper of the Fifth Company, or I don't know if you gave it a name or not. That's what I'm calling it because that's
Mhm.
what my stuff's called. Okay, yeah, they pretty much move up and they bop that. My Blight Lords kill some Gene Stealers by the end of this thing. And I think we get in some fights down here with some Plague Marines.
Yeah, it looks like
And
the warriors end up like shooting and charging your Rhino
I believe
potentially.
so, because the Rhino tried to run away and it still fucking died, like, not very
Yeah,
long afterwards.
yeah, I know it fell back towards the middle.
I was trying to game the game and, like, keep them alive somehow, and it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
Alright, this is still the end of round two. Go ahead, round three for us. Let's see, what happened in round three?
Oh, I did. Oh, one thing cool I will note before we get out of round two is on my counterattack swinging back on that um Hierophant. I shot at it with the Lancer and the Lancer did like nothing. And then I did charge it with the Assault Intercessors and they dealt like 15 wounds to it and they also died in return. Uh that was round like 2-3. I'm pretty sure it was round 2 on my turn coming back. So that was pretty interesting, I'll be honest.
Yes. Yeah, we had I had concerns when that thing just started bopping shit. I was like, "Oh, this game might be over real quick. Like this crusade shit's not going to matter."
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my concerns, but I was like even to like I charged it. I just remember I charged it with the Assault Intercessors because I was like it can shoot them anyways on its turn. So I was like I might as well like send them and do something
Right.
versus its turn just like shooting them and then charging my Reaper.
Right. Well, that's
No.
kind of one of the things that's nice about the predictability of like the air quotes mindless horde is like you know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of like I'm just going to throw shit at it while I can essentially. All right, and then my Plague Marines, I got 2 units here. I got a unit of 7 and a unit of 5, and my Naglax the Witherer, my Warlord, um, Tallyman. They do end up taking out the Winged Prime and the 6 Warriors. I don't remember for sure who cleaned it up. I'm pretty sure it was the 5-man, because I'm pretty sure the 5-man had like 2 or 3 kills, but then they die by the end of the game, so I don't get that XP or anything. Um, okay, round 3. We oh the okay, so this is cool. So we have the use it or lose it secondary, which was super important because we were already trying to finagle ways for Dakota to call in some capital reinforcements here,
Yeah.
which is 10 horde RP, and then if we complete that, so the objective of this secondary mission is to spend 6 RP, which we were already planning on doing. And if you do that, a random player gets 10. So by calling in 1 unit, it was going to complete our secondary mission, and which was going to allow us to call in another unit. Like one of
Hmm.
us was going to get to call in. We were going to get 2 new units on the table, So that made for a nice secondary objective for us for sure.
Yeah, it was nice. It was neat. It was well needed at this point in time.
Yes, mucho nido. Our spawns here, we came up with 6 Tyrannid warriors and 6 Tyrant guard. Uh, Made for much more manageable kills, just because we have
Well,
the Hierophant in your face.
I wouldn't say it was manageable yet because I still had the Hierophant. I think my chaplain is still alive, just at this dude's feet still. Um, at this point, but it was definitely I definitely at this point was like feeling a bit overwhelmed on my side of the board. The Lancer and the Tech Marine were not going to be able to hold it.
Right, right. Um, all right, and then this round kind of goes by. These guys make their movements up, um, which 2 units of range dudes, which they're not really ranged. They have a decent melee profile too. Or 1 unit of those against 2 units of Plague Marines. I'm gonna pink away at them pretty well by looks of it. I know my Blight Lords do get a charge on the Hierophant and do, I think, basically nothing. I don't know if I kill these guys in round 3 or not.
The Hierophant, I do believe, died in this round.
Oh, Dakota called in his which one is this?
The Redemptor Dreadnought.
His Redemptor Dreadnought. Yes, and the Hierophant does die this round. You kill it.
Yeah.
You kill it with something. I don't know what.
I don't think I kill it. I think you kill it.
I did not. I know my Blight Lords did next to nothing to it. I have it in my notes that you kill it. I watched the VOD back earlier.
Okay. I know that the Redemptor Dreadnought, so he gets to spawn in our zone, and then he gets to move, so he can actually get close and hit a charge. Well, I'm pretty sure the Redemptor Dread shoots and charges this thing and doesn't scratch the paint on it.
Oh yeah, so if I remember correctly, everything that you had that should have been doing damage to it was not doing damage to it.
Correct.
The things that should not have been doing damage to it were doing a just really up punching amount of damage to it.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I'm just like like I called in the dread because I was like, yeah, this guy will be able to help take care of it because I can like, it's got a good melee punch for how many wounds are left. It's got a better gun. Like, not that it can solo it, but this thing was at half health. I'm like, it can do it. Like, it'll get there. It didn't do jack shit.
Yeah, I don't know that the Terminators did a wound to it. I don't remember for sure, but they may have done just like a couple, and I think it was down to 1 at one point. You know what? I think it was down to 1, and it had 2 5-up saves and made both of them at one point.
Yeah, I
remember seeing it earlier. You rolled double 5s on saves, and you were like, "What the fuck?"
I don't remember how it specifically died though, because I didn't shoot at it with the Lancer. Didn't it like?
Whatever.
Oh, I killed it in explosions. My Redemptor blew up. I'm pretty sure and killed it.
I think you're right.
Because I think
because we were trying to figure out the double deadly demise on it, and
because I think you did enough damage to get it low, and then my dread blew up and did enough to kill it.
I think so.
Now that I'm
round 4 here. The stray card or misery card, stray orbital bombardment. We split the board into 6 parts, and it actually landed in a part that had nothing in it, so that was basically irrelevant here.
Mhm.
Our secondary was Dragon Slayer, kill an enemy, monster, or vehicle, which, I mean, we picked up all of our secondaries this game, so that's a pretty easy one against Tyranids, or if there's just not one on the board, which I think is what happens, because I don't think any of these are monsters or vehicles.
Yeah, it was just like auto pass.
The Horde spawns 3 Byrovores and 6 Von Ryan Death Leapers, which did not deep strike. So the way that our excuse me, Horde mode spawns work is that if they have a deep strike ability, you roll a d6. If that number is equal to or less than the game round, the unit will deep strike. And we have kind of a method for that. If you check out the Horde Mode Crusade
Yeah.
Palooza document, which I will link below. They did not deep strike though.
Yeah.
They ran up and killed a bunch of fucking Plague Marines, but they didn't deep strike doing it. Okay, they killed my 5-man, my melee unit, the dudes that I I had a dream of like this unit being like the premier unit of my list, and then after I read more of the Death Guard Crusade I'm using 9th edition codex because 10th edition isn't here yet. I've decided I have a new plan now, and these guys died, but we'll get to that in the episode 2 preview more so.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, the Von Ryans kill the second Sepsis. I don't think a whole lot happens on Dakota's side of the table, and I bring in the first torment of Death Shroud Terminators here eventually. They're coming. Here they are.
We had a pretty long discussion too on about where we should drop them in, because I know at first you were thinking about just dropping them on the far side board edge, and I was like, no, you should put them in the middle. Like, I know you had a plan that you're trying to go for holding objective, but also too, it's one of those things where we measured it out a lot, where it's like, okay, well, if you are here and miss your 9-inch charge, you're in the middle of the board, not just like out in the
So
BS.
I remember my thought, and it could just be incorrect due to inexperience. I was thinking if I fall back with my Plague Marines,
yeah,
and I get charged, and they kill the unit of Plague Marines, that they would then, what is the after attack movement? That's not pile in? What is that one?
they can consolidate.
Yeah, they would consolidate into the Death Shroud, and then the Death Shroud would get to attack back. That was my plan, was just to get an extra melee attack out of the Death Shroud.
Thinking about it, just seeing how it lines up, I don't know if they would technically consolidate into your unit, because they can consolidate onto a unit or objective. I guess it would be.
I guess I was thinking the Horde units always
Consolidate in. I
go
don't know. That
towards
could
a
be.
unit.
That could be a rule. I don't know.
I don't know. Ultimately, we didn't put them there. We put them in the middle of the damn table because they're fat and slow and stinky, and I needed them to do something. And if this went to hell in a handbasket, then they could just be stuck over here the whole game doing nothing.
Yeah, I think putting them in the middle too ends up working out pretty well for us. Just for, I think, everything that they do or don't do. I don't remember.
I also know I was counting on getting some damn command points so that I could Overwatch with their Plague Sprint gauntlets, because it's 3 Tauren attacks. I never saw another command point after round 1 this game, so that would have been irrelevant anyhow. All right, round 5 here. Horde got more misery cards. They had advance and charges are auto 6s, and then spawns were 3d6, dropped the lowest, and I think there was another misery card but ended up being irrelevant, or maybe like 2 others or something. Oh, this is how my Rhino died.
Oh, right, yeah.
I forgot about this. We had to vote a unit out, and I was like, well, it's either your Tech Marine or my Rhino, and Dakota's like, your Rhino can go fuck itself, and I was like, okay.
Well, the thing is, the Rhino isn't gonna, like, there's not anything beneficial that it can do, like, with XP. It's just a transport. Like, it is a thing. Yes, you're gonna have to bring another one, but my Tech Marine can actually level up and do stuff in later games and be better.
Right.
So it's like, do we leave the tissue box alive, or do we kill the thing that works or is real?
Yeah. No, the Rhino.
Yeah.
It was an easy sell. All right. So the spawns. Oh, go ahead.
I think we might have missed it in the last round. I think I did drop in my unit of Deathwing Knights.
Yes. They're
I do
over
see it.
here. You can
They
see
are out
them.
on the table. They came in, like I said, it was either 4 or 5 that they came in. So at this point, I've dropped in like
So was that a full drop in, or was that like the tactical upgrade? Did you send anyone back to the ship?
I didn't have anybody send back. It was just a full
Okay,
drop.
full drop in.
Because at this point, I don't. We had a decent amount of the horde. RP. Oh no, I think I on the randomness. One of us got obviously the 10 from the random,
Mm-hmm.
and we were scoring pretty well on our secondaries. So I don't remember who got the 10 random, but I dropped those guys in.
Yeah.
If I because we both have at this point dropped in a separate unit.
Yes. Round 5 here, the spawns. You had 2 Carnifex and Old One Eye, and
Mhm.
then we had whatever this was, but we forgot so we rolled a 12 to get these guys, and then
Mhm.
we forgot to add like 2 to the spawn rolls, which is what we were supposed to be doing here. So they were actually not these guys. They are, yeah, here we go. Boom, a Norn emissary, and I was like, oh, now it's my turn for my army to die. Um, but they just kind of run into each other, and no one did a nothing game breaking at this point.
Mhm.
We did kill Old One Eye, which gave us the so another rule that we added here, and it was kind of after this game, but whatever, is that if you kill a elite character for the horde in this game mode, if one spawns and it's killed, it counts as having killed a warlord for anything crusade. So one of the things that I get to do before going in the next game required me to kill my enemy's warlord in our previous game. And I was like, oh, like that kind of sucks. Like I just don't have access to that because we don't have
Mhm.
warlords. And then, which Dakota and I have pretty much just sided on just gas everything and just let's see if we can break this.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, what do you think about letting warlords or elite characters count as warlords so that I get this bonus? And he's like, yep, sounds good. So if either one of us, like, because we're teammates, right? So even though he killed Old One Eye, I get having killed a warlord.
Yeah. Yeah, and even to like a lot of the things, if we have secondaries or like our secret agendas, which we'll talk about in some later episodes, and we'll mention them kind of at the end of this. If it involves killing, if one of us does it, we're just and it's something like that for the crusade, it counts for both.
Right.
I don't
Um,
think I have anything of that nature right now. It's just yeah, if
the
they spawn on the wrong side, you just can't get them.
yeah, the only time that this may deserve a retrofit is if there's a secret objective that calls for something. Then we may say like, oh, secret objective, blah 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 blah. But I don't even know that'll be applicable. So we'll
Mhm.
see as the thing continues here. Um, what else? So we talked about clearing the board to end the game. And then oh no, we didn't talk about that live. So one thing that we have talked about is that instead of round 6, oh we survive, game is over. We should have to kill all enemy units on the board. So no more spawns for the horde, but we still have to, air quotes here, survive the horde um, by killing what it is that is on the board. If anyone's still listening at this point, let us know what you think about that. We were kind of torn between it. Dakota's just hearing it. Well, I may have mentioned it before. Anyhow, whatever. I'm rambling. Um, let us know what you guys think. Like, should we have to kill everything on the board to like be able to go back to the ship essentially after that game and patch your dudes up and figure out new armies and blah blah blah, or should we just get to survive round 6 and call it good? I'm torn. What do you think?
No, I mean,
I like it thematically. I hate it for the idea that we may end up having like 6 fucking hour games or whatever. And if I have to kill Norn Emissary here, there's a chance that I'm not hanging out with a lot of lists left.
the thing is, I don't think it's a too bad because like obviously I'm pointing my guns at my side,
Hmm.
and he I think is the only unit that's technically less. Actually, I think those biovores are standing out in the corner,
I think there's still
but
like a Biovore in the corner. Yeah.
but at this point, like my lancer can shoot at him. We can like kind of dump everything we have on him. Like and at the end of the games, there's probably only going to be one or two things left, maybe, if that. So,
Right, right.
like, yeah, they still might just chew up a bunch of stuff though. So there is that.
And then finally, one thing we haven't talked about, this mod. I don't remember for sure which mod this is. If someone asks in the comments, I'll be sure to go find it, or I'll try to put a link to it. When you spawn a Horde mode unit, you don't have to like go to the table anymore. There's separate bags set over there, and it says, "Hey, this is the 7 to 9 bag. This is the 10 plus. This is the 5-6." You just grab one out of there, and it gives you a random. Uh, it gives you a random spawn for that round. That was such a quality of life change. Rolling the units has kind of been like, I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it's very tedious.
Hmm. Yeah, you're going in, you're looking on TTS. It's super tedious because you're going in looking for the models, making sure you have everything you need, like throw them together, and you don't have the card necessarily right on hand. Even in real life, when you roll them out, I know we played a game or two um, in person, and it's still kind of tedious when you're like you roll it out and you're like, oh, I need this, and then you're like looking for all the models and you know yada
Mm-hmm.
yada. This it was a lot more manageable not having like a game manager. I know I mentioned this in past episodes. I think having a game manager would be fun for Horde mode, but this made it almost like not necessary. Not necessary.
Yep, yep, for sure, for sure. All right, we got anything else to recap game one here?
Nope. I think the only thing left to recap is just kind of what actually remained in our list, and kind of we'll just mention too kind of the agendas we went for.
Okay, yeah. So the agenda I went for was basically like infecting objectives, and then if I had infected X amount of objectives throughout the game, then I would get a let me find here. So it's called Sow the Infection, Harvest the Plague in the ninth edition Death Guard Codex. Um, I got a new stat that's called a Poisoning Tally. At the end of each battle round, add 1 to your army's poisoning tally for each objective marker that is within contagion range of any contagion ability that any unit from your army has. So I took that as I could sticky my objectives, and then those counted also, because I think I don't was that a ninth edition thing?
What
Like
sticky objectives?
that like I stinkied up my objectives and kept them forever. I don't remember.
Maybe I
Maybe,
don't
maybe not.
remember.
Anyhow, um, I did get 7+ of those. I would have gotten more had we got to keep our damn deployment objective, but it left us round one. So
Mhm.
I got a virulence point. I can spend virulence points on things later, and we'll get into that when I get into the list preview for game two. So my list here, um, we already talked about at the beginning. So at the end of the game, and there's 2 more points that need to be added to this because we forgot about 2 XP for our secret objective being completed.
Mhm.
But Naglax the Witherer was in the first score, or the first sepsis of Plague Marine, so they both scored 6, and then I gave him the what do we call that again? The marked for greatness, so he gets 3 bonus XP at the end of the game. Um, the first Torment of Death Shroud, they did deploy, they survived the game, and they were on the battlefield for 2 completed secondary objectives, so they scored 3. And then my second sepsis of Plague Marines and my Rhino, they both died, so they are off of my list. So this will be my list. Well, these guys have to stay, right? Anyone that started, or do
For the
they just,
next,
yeah? Do they have to stay in the main list, or can they go to?
I think they can go to the ship. They don't have to
But
stay
they have to stay
necessarily.
on one of these 2 lists.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. So this is kind of where I'm at going into game 2.
Hmm. Yeah, and then here's my list. Obviously, uh, Jofel, he died. Squad Uziel died. The Lion's Fury, it died. The Redemptor Dread, it died. So a lot of death on my list. And one of the things, sorry, let me talk about my agendas. So agenda-wise, I did interrogation tactics at the end of the battle. If one or more chaplain or librarian units from your Crusade army is either destroyed one or more enemy character units with a melee attack, or is within range of one or more enemy character units, blah blah blah. Gain 3 honor points. Didn't score that. He died. And then I also took, that was a bonus agenda. Then my other ones were Angels of Death. Basically, if there's no enemy units on the battlefield, which I guess that will play into if we clear the board. I could take this one later.
Right.
And because it's no enemies on the battlefield, gain 2 XP and honor points. And then the other one, which I'm actually reading it now, I didn't score these XP points on my units, but it's at the end of the battle, if each unit from your Crusade army that did not fail a battle shock test during the battle gains 1 XP. If that unit did not fail a battle shock test and is also below half strength, it gains 2 XP. The 3 units that actually lived for me, none of them failed battle shock. And I think the Deathwing Knights might have been below half strength. We'd have to check the tape on that though to confirm that.
Yes. Yeah, I don't remember.
So really, I have like an XP that can be left for Gadriel, Azrael's backup, and the Deathwing Knights could get 2 additional. And I didn't mark anybody for greatness, which I'd mark the Deathwing Knights to get them up to
That first
7.
That first rank. Yeah.
Yep, up to 7. Get them up to that first rank. As well as Azrael's backup. So the dudes that played for me or lived definitely scored. End up scoring some XP.
Yep.
And moving on. So
I think so far it's working.
Mm-hmm.
So far, what we wrote down and thought of in the beginning, like it's working. We both had a couple units die. We both had some units live. We get some XP to take to the next game, and it's fun. We're having fun.
This is fun.
This is fun, guys. Yeah, we're having fun.
I will say I had a lot more die than I anticipated, but
Hero fans will do that to you.
Yeah, it's just how it rolls out.
Yep. So yeah. All right. I got nothing else. You good?
I'm good.
All right. Well, thank you guys for checking this out. Stay tuned for more of our Horde Mode Crusade Palooza content. And we hope to see you guys in some of our live streams. If you subscribe to the channel, we will do like a post or 2 on YouTube when we know when those live streams are going to be, and then we may post on Facebook and Instagram and those sorts of things. But the best place really to keep up to date will be YouTube. It's just easiest for our media guy. He hates social media. I'll say it. Not to put words in my mouth. I mean his mouth. Okay. Anyhow, we hope to see more of this soon, and let us know what you guys think.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.